Hello and welcome to our fourth lesson on the topic of cells. And in this lesson, we're going to be talking about specialized cells. Now remember how we said that there are many different types of cells, different shapes, different sizes. Now have you ever wondered why that is? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing more about in this lesson. And we're going to talk about specialization, and we're going to talk about differentiation. In just a while you'll know what those two words mean. And we're also going to be discussing how the structure of cells is specialized for their function. See, structure and function again, right? The big ideas. And in particular, you really need to know about these three different cells. So pay attention when we talk about them later. Now, we're going to start off by talking about something that's very exciting. Very exciting. And there's nothing more exciting than washing dishes. I wonder how many of you guys help your mom and dad to wash the dishes. Recently, I started living on my own, so I've had to do the dishes. And do you think what's the best way of doing it? Is it to get one person to do everything, all the steps, soap, rinse, and dry, or to split the task and have different people do different parts of it? One person soaps, one person rinses, one person dries. Well, I think you agree with me that the second way is better, to divide the labor up and then to get different people to specialize in different things. That's a lot faster, isn't it? Now, this is actually very related to something that we see in our society. Have you ever wondered why there are so many different jobs in our society? So you've got firemen, soldiers, pilots, doctors. Why can't we just get one Superman, one guy to do every single job? Well, you're right, it'd probably be too slow. And different jobs have different types of requirements, and you probably couldn't get one person to do it all. So in order to be more efficient as a society, to do things faster, we divide the job up, divide the labor, and we get different people to specialize in different jobs. Cells are a lot like that. There is division of labor and specialization in multicellular organisms. Now, in a multicellular organism like yourself, like animals and plants, you will see many different types of cells. Different cells do different tasks and are specialized for different things. And that makes things more efficient. Again, so different cells are specialized for different functions for greater efficiency. But I wonder if you've thought about it, as a baby you start out as one cell. So how does one cell get to many different types of cells? It's a bit like now in class. So this is wow, what a great learning environment. This is a classroom with many students, and all these students look the same. Right, all these students look the same, all got the same look on their face, all reading the same book. How is it that they become many different jobs? Well, the process of this, you could think of it as what we call differentiation. And in the same way, cells undergo differentiation. Now you'll find a special type of cell in the body called stem cells. And stem cells are cells that can differentiate into other different types of cells. So through differentiation, stem cells become other types of specialized cells. So differentiation, we say it is a process where cells become specialized for a specific function. And usually that involves gaining or losing certain structures, right? It's like you need to gain, the cell needs to gain certain abilities, it needs to lose certain things in order to become better suited for its function. And these stem cells are actually very cool. They've been the subject of a lot of research lately. They are cells which are undifferentiated. They actually have the potential to become other types of cells. So these stem cells, they can become nerves, heart cells, cardiac, they can become muscle, become intestinal cells, liver cells, they can become anything. And people have been researching these cells, and they find that these cells can be used to grow organs. So here what you see here, right, it's a mouse with, what do you see that on the mouse? It's an ear, right? People have started to grow organs like ears, and the research is pretty cool, and it could become applied in medicine, right? You could grow new organs for people who lose them. So that's a stem cells, which can differentiate into specialized cells. So I said that we're going to be talking about three important types of cells. So please focus on red blood cells, root hair cells, and xylem vessels, and how their structure, how is it related to their function. So this is an important theme in biology, again, structure and function. So let's start with red blood cells. Red blood cells, their function is to transport oxygen. They're specialized for that. Yeah, they look like this, they're red. This is 3D, you should recognize this as a electron microscope picture. Now how are they specialized? Firstly, their cytoplasm contains a protein called hemoglobin. You need to know how to spell this. Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the protein that binds to oxygen. That is what allows the red blood cell to carry oxygen. And furthermore, the red blood cell lacks a nucleus, right? It's one of the only cells, I think, in the human body that doesn't have a nucleus. Actually, it used to have a nucleus, but when it becomes a red blood cell, it loses the nucleus. And it does this in order to store more hemoglobin, and therefore to store more oxygen. Right, so this cartoon is quite cute. The red blood cell says, I want to keep my nucleus. But the other one tells him, but you must make more space for hemoglobin so that you can carry more oxygen. See, that's how the red blood cell is specialized. And I'm sure you've heard about this before. The red blood cell has a biconcave shape. Now take note how to spell this. Students often spell it wrongly as bioconcave. Okay, it's not bioconcave, it's biconcave. Bi meaning two concave sides, right? So you see one concave side here and one concave side here. Okay, that's why we call it biconcave. And the main reason for this shape is that it increases the surface area to volume ratio of the cell so that it can absorb oxygen at a higher rate. Okay, please learn how to use these terms, these words. Okay, surface area to volume ratio is a very important phrase, and also the phrase higher rate. Use this word rate. Don't just say faster, slower. Get the habit of using the word higher or lower rate. So that's red blood cells. How about the root hair cell? Okay, where do you find root hair cells? Clearly you find root hair cells in your roots, right, of your plants. Let's draw some roots of the plant. Flower. So you have roots of the plant, and the root hair cells are found in the roots, and they are specialized for absorbing water and mineral salts. Okay, don't forget, it's also mineral salts, not just water. And here's a root hair cell. You can see that it's the normal parts of a plant cell: cell wall, membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm, and the vacuole. But very special to it is this root hair. Okay, the root hair is this extension here. This is the root hair. I'm going to box it out for you, okay? So the root hair cell has a special structure called the root hair. Again, to show you more detail, this is the root hair cell here. This is one root hair cell, and this is the root hair. Okay, over here what you see is a whole root, and you see many root hair cells. Okay, this is like one cell here, can you see? And sticking out from this cell is a root hair. And here you see a 3D image of it, so many root hairs sticking out from the root hair cells. The root hair cells are in contact with the soil water. Okay, they're surrounded by soil water, so they can absorb the water in. Okay, so how is a root hair cell specialized for its function? Well, it has a long and narrow root hair. is a long and narrow root hair. And why? So that it can increase the surface area to volume ratio, again an important phrase. Okay, to absorb water and mineral salts, again an important phrase, at a higher rate. Okay, so it's very similar to the red blood cell in some ways, in having an adaptation to increase surface area to volume ratio. Now what that means, some of you might be asking. So surface area to volume ratio means that it has the maximum amount of surface area. See here, there's a lot more surface area here than if it didn't have the root hair. So there's a lot more space that water can go into the cell. Imagine if there was no root hair, there wouldn't be so much surface area for absorption to take place. Cool, we need to move on to the xylem vessels. Xylem vessels are specialized in plants. Okay, they are kind of transport tissue for transporting, so not absorbing, but transporting water and mineral salts from the roots to the shoot. And they are also important to provide structural support, okay, to allow the plant to stand, in a sense, to stand straight. So xylem vessels, they are hollow tubes, and we say that they have a continuous lumen. Okay, the lumen is the hole. Okay, it's what you call the hole, but please don't use the word hole. Don't say continuous hole. Continuous lumen. Okay, with no obstruction. Now, why is there no obstruction? Because it's made out of cells that are dead. Yes, xylem vessels is made out of cells that are dead. These cells have no protoplasm, no nucleus, no cytoplasm. They have like kamikaze, they have died, they have suicided, they have killed themselves in the name of becoming xylem vessel. These cells have sacrificed themselves. And the reason why we want a continuous lumen is that this reduces the resistance for water flow. Less resistance, water can flow more smoothly. So imagine these pipes right here, there's so much resistance, it's blocked. But if there's no protoplasm or anything, the water can flow very easily. Now, xylem vessels are also thickened, have walls that are thickened with lignin, which is a very hardy material. Lignin is deposited in different patterns, can be rings, can be spiral, okay, can even be pits. However it is, it strengthens the walls and it allows these xylem vessels to continue to maintain their shape so that they do not collapse as water moves through them, and allows them to also provide structural support. Cool, I want to just talk about two more cells as extra. So there's a sperm cell. Now you know sperm cells, their function is to carry genetic information to eggs for fertilization. They swim a very long way, very long way. There's a long journey of the sperm. It's like swimming from Singapore all the way to Vietnam. That's how far sperms have to travel. So not surprisingly then, they are actually specialized for movement. They have a tail, a flagella for movement, and they also need a lot of energy, right? It's like you need a lot of energy to move. So they have very large numbers of mitochondria, and you find the mitochondria here in the middle piece. There are very large numbers of them for energy. One more, the small intestine epithelial cell. Okay, this is just a special cell in the small intestine, and its job is to absorb digested nutrients. Okay, all the stuff that you eat and it's digested, it needs to absorb them. And it's very interesting, look at them, they have very cool hairstyle. And there are these small protrusions called microvilli. Okay, and these microvilli, what they do is they help to also increase, I didn't write it out, but increase the surface area to what? To volume ratio. Again, so that we can increase the rate of absorption. So that's all, right, for this lesson. I want you to really go and think about it. Okay, how are cells specialized for their functions, and the different examples that we've gone through, and maybe even go look for more examples of your own and share them in class. Alright, thanks.